Hey, how's it going, guys? Matt back here with another video. Today's video, we're going to be making a DIY inflator slash deflator for the Tacoma. So for the last couple months, I've been using a ARB valve core removal tool, and that allowed me to kind of deflate the tires a lot faster than what I did prior to that, which was put a flathead on the stem and just stand there the whole time. So today we're going to be making a 4-tire inflator slash deflator with the items I have here. All right, guys, so here's some of the items you're going to need to complete the project. I have about 50 feet of 3/8 inch rubber air hose from Harbor Freight. It was about $20 for this. I do recommend going with the 3/8 inch over the 1/2 inch. It's going to allow for more air volume to escape from the tires when airing down, and allow for more air to get into your tires when airing up. So definitely get the 3/8 inch over the 1/2 inch that people typically use. We got these 3/8 inch barbed fittings, which you're going to need about 7 of them. And again, I'll put a list of everything you'll need for the project and kind of explain everything as we the project progresses. You're going to need 4 of these tire chucks for each tire. I definitely recommend getting the ones with the lock-on levers. You're going to need a brass T-fitting, T-connector, full port ball valve, and then some connector couplings over here, and then your pressure gauge. Just got the last piece here, and that's also what you're going to need is these 3-way barbed fittings, 3/8 inch. Again, I'll link in the description where you can buy these. My good friend, who's also the mailman here, just delivered them, so we're good to go, and we won't get them on camera, but thank you to him. So now we're getting into the cutting phase of the hose, and what I would do really just to make sure that you have the correct length you're going to need for your setup is kind of set this valve over here right in front of the tire, and just kind of work your way back, you know, because some wheelbases are larger than others. All right, so in this case, this seems like a solid point for me to cut. Another tool I'm going to recommend is this heavy gauge Pittsburgh wire cutter, and this is just going to help facilitate you cutting the hose. So let's see, we'll grab it here, and it should be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Snip that up, good to go. It's a little bit of a residual here. All right, so now that's cut. What we can do is mimic what we did with this hose on this end. And the only reason I say to use this end is to make sure that you make use of this this hose end. All right, guys, so we're using the opposite end so we can actually make use of that guy right there. And what we're gonna do is just an exact length of what we cut for, you know, the passenger side is what we're going to do for the driver's side. And again, I'm going to use my handy dandy snips and do the exact length cut. These are a little dull, so it doesn't get that last piece there, but there we go. All right, so our first length is our first 2 lengths are cut. So our next cut is going to be from our 3-way here to our passenger side front tire here. And this cut, you really don't need any more than 2 feet of length. So we'll cut, you know, 2 feet. Kind of just see, hey, connects there. Maybe give a little more depending on where the valve is at, but that should be good right there. And we'll take our snips once again and cut. There we go. And what we're gonna do is actually just mimic the same cut for the driver's side. Right there. And bam, moving on to the next cut. All right, guys, for our next cut, we're gonna want to put the hose on the three-way there and kind of just run it to the center of the vehicle. And this is about center, you know, that's perfect right there. Now what we're gonna do is make this final cut for the passenger side, and then we will mimic the same size for the driver's side to center. All right, guys, for our second to final cut, we're going to you know, this can vary, because if you're using an air compressor, really doesn't matter how long the cut needs to be. But if you are using like a CO2 to prevent freezing the gauge, you want a longer length of hose. So in this case, we're going to be using air compressor, so we'll cut it, you know, 2 feet doesn't hurt. All right, and so for our last section, we're going to again make another similar you know, 2 feet of hose, and we can cut that now. All right, so now what we're gonna do is kind of just demonstrate how everything goes together, and we'll kind of go walk and talk you guys through. Just a quick caveat, I didn't mention it, but you're gonna want to use some Teflon tape on the threads, you know, a liberal amount, just to make sure that, you know, you got a complete seal with both male and female end. So here I got my tire chuck, which is a lock-on lever, but I'm gonna be mating that to that. First, I'm gonna put some Teflon tape on my threads, and I'll be good to go. Teflon tape on the threads there. So now what I'm gonna do is just kind of put that on like such. And I'm not gonna be snugging anything down yet for the sake of the video, but just put that on and we'll leave that as such. So now we're gonna work our way down. Before we do that, let's grab some of these guys and we'll work our way down to this three-way here, passenger side, and we're going to take this three-way here, and first we're going to insert this guy here and then put our three-way in. And you could in theory get 2 band clamps on there, but for this case we'll use 1, and we'll just torque this guy down. So this is what the front passenger should look like. We got that three-way, we got all the hoses connected. So what we're gonna do now is install a wheel chuck on this portion here, so that can go to the front passenger tire there. We'll do that now. Guys, so we have our barbed 3/8 mated to a 1 1/4, I believe that's 1 1/4 male end. So what we're gonna do now is insert this, but rather than put just 1 band clamp, you know, it's a little bit longer of a barbed area, so I'm gonna put 2 band clamps on there, and that should hold up pretty good. First thing we're gonna wanna do is just throw these band clamps over, throw this guy over, insert this, and then we'll tighten these guys down. We got this barbed end on, we put 2 band clamps. We're going to now put some Teflon on the threaded portion here, and then we'll put the tire chuck. So we've completely finished the passenger side. So what we're gonna do is do exactly what we did on this side on the driver's side. All right, guys, so we finished both sides. I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So bam, bam, doing the same exact thing we did on the passenger side to the driver's side. So now what we're gonna do is mate the 2 ends, passenger driver side, to this 3-way right there. As we're nearing the end on our project, now what we're going to do is connect the valve to our T connector to our pressure gauge, and we're going to throw that on the system. And I'll kind of put you on a time lapse to see what everything looks like. All right guys, once again we're back to our system. We have our valve and gauge all set up, all torqued down. What we're going to do is connect it to the system now. Slap this guy in here and we'll tighten that down. Grab this guy, put that on there, and then just go about torquing these bad boys down, or tightening these guys down, and we should be almost wrapped up. We'll do that now. All right guys, so we finished the system. We've ran our last hose right here to our barb fitting here onto our quick disconnect, which is going to attach to our air compressor and allow the air to come out. So what we're going to do right now is just button up the system, make sure everything is tightened down, everything is completely sealed, and we'll get some soapy water to be able to spray throughout the system, all our connection points, to see if we have any leaks, and we'll do that now. All right guys, we're pretty much all complete with the project. Everything's working good. Kind of show you a quick demonstration. Yep, good to go. So what we're gonna do right now is just do a time lapse of the vehicle deflating, and I'll put a timer in front of the time lapse so you guys know how long it takes for the deflating process. So we'll do that now. Stay tuned. All right, so it took about 3 minutes and 45 seconds to air down from 40 psi all the way down to that looks just over 10, to be honest. I would say anywhere from 12 to 13. Deflated, right? What we're gonna do is inflate them. And the shop that I initially went to had them inflated to about 40 psi. I kind of like my tires sitting around 35 to 37. I feel like I get a comfortable ride then, and decent fuel economy. So with that being said, we're going to connect the system onto my air compressor and see how long it takes to go from, again, we're probably sitting at right around 10 psi, 10 to 12. So what we'll do now is attach it and time it. Yeah, that took about 1 minute and 20 seconds to go from 10 psi all the way up to 35, a tad over 35 psi, but that's perfect. I'm really pleased with this system. No leaks right now. Again, this in total maybe $75, and it's a pretty high-end system, you know. All right guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. Maybe comment if you have any questions or concerns. Subscribe, that'll help too. But if nothing else, have a good one guys. Enjoy.